seconds early. Whoops. And it's Friday.
Oh,
We're
it's
early.
Friday.
Oh my gosh, this never happens. Usually we're like,
no.
Welcome to the
Yay.
Friday Grief Chat with Jill and Deb.
Hey, how is everyone? Yeah, here it's, I love fall weather, and that's what's happening. You've been having some horrible winds and stuff by you, right?
We are having horrible weather. We have forgotten that it's fall, and we have decided that it should be as hot as humanly possible and muggy and windy.
Ugh.
And we've had trees come down. We had a haboob, which we
Yes.
don't have here, or didn't,
Right.
but now we do. So
Yes.
yeah, it's just been I've had a long string of folks I work with coming in and saying, I really want to get some exercise to battle my anxiety or depression or to relieve my mood, but it's literally too hot. It's already in the mid 70s at 6 a.m.
Yes.
And it's muggy and intense, and it was supposed to cool off, and then we had that haboob, and it changed literally all of the weather for the rest of the week. And there's currently a hurricane that has just hit Arizona, so why not?
Why not? But not. That's exactly how we felt here in the Midwest for weeks on end. We finally got some rain the other day. Here's my good news. For the first time in years, the birds did not get all my seeds of sunflower. I have one sunflower, one. And so I get to watch it from sitting right here. And yeah, it's the whole summer was like that. I do want to move on to what happened earlier in the week. I think about the feelings of loss of childhood with all the women that came forward for with the Epstein case. And I'm so grateful because when women come forward, and men get sexually abused also. So let me just say that. But for me, identifying as a woman and having horrible things happen growing up, when I see other people, other women coming forward, my heart just goes out to them. And I've had my share of therapy. I'm not done, actually. And so you're never done.
Never done.
And so I think about the feelings of loss that they may or may not have. I can't say for sure. I'm not them. But the way they spoke so eloquently, and more people are stepping up on both sides of the aisle to support them.
I've appreciated the reminders that even though they are well put together women now, they were children, and that we're talking about children, and it's had an impact on, I think, anyone who's had an experience with childhood sexual abuse. It's been a heavy week for that, and especially for those who, when they run across the folks who are saying things that are not supportive, and well, if they're telling the truth, nobody comes forward with stories like that because it's a fun or easy thing to do, and no one's going to lie, and that's just a bottom line. It takes you back.
I think about my granddaughter in high school. This is the age of some
Junior
of them.
High and high school.
That's right. Yeah, senior years. And
there were 13-year-olds involved.
Yes. Yeah. So junior high also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just.
And yet, looking at it, we're seeing people who are stepping forward and saying enough already. And although we've gone through cycles like this for decades, okay, so the Catholic Church eruption, and I'm not minimizing it, but that became from we don't believe to, oh my goodness, and then to documents, and then, oh wow, it's all real.
Right.
And scouting and other churches and so many organized groups, which is where this hides, because there's an effort as a group or with power to cover it up over the powerless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who have been impacted by that, we stand with you. I personally hope that you are finding the support that you need, the places to let it out, the dog or cat or teddy bear to hug.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it takes to give yourself some space and some grace this week.
Right? I just for perspective's sake, if people are feeling extra tired,
mm-hmm.
that have watched other people come forward, say things, both the supportive and the negative, if you are extra tired, take that time to you need to drink more waters. Your adrenals are kicking up. Number 2, go take a nap. And I had to really give myself some grace this week. I lay down a few times thinking, I'll just shut my eyes for a minute. An hour and a half later, I wake up and I go, oh my God, where did that time go? Because it's tiring. And I'll tell you what else is tiring. And I don't know if this fits into a grief show. I think it does. I don't know about you, Jill, but I have a hard time figuring out reality these days. And the reality, it used to be you could tell when something was photoshopped. I'm amused by some of the AI, but it really messes with my brain at how closely I have to look and then ask, is this true?
To even look at where's the sun and is there a shadow, and
on pictures you're talking
how many
about.
feet, how many fingers. It's some of it's fun. The jumping raccoons that never existed on a trampoline, I'm good with that. I'm happy to see fake raccoons jumping on a trampoline. And you don't need to correct me and tell me it's AI. I do know it. I just enjoy the image of it.
Or the babies talking in complete
sentences
with accents and complete sentences and answering, like some of that is clever. Some is stupid. I laugh at stupid too, but I really like clever. And, I can't tell what's what. Some of the things that I read, and then I have to double check it. And sometimes I don't. And then I put it on and someone else double checks it. It's exhausting.
It is.
And it's sort of like when computers first came on the scene, in like everything from Pong on our Commodores. Do you remember Pong?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. And Pac-Man and Pac-Lady, Ms. Pac-Man. And then I had to get used to, and also then not be afraid I was going to blow up my computer by touching a button.
Remember those days?
Yeah. Well, it's still like there's things I don't understand. And, all I want to know when I call somebody is, Am I going to blow up my computer? Am I going to erase all my data?
Right.
Things like that. So, but I think about that loss of stability. I guess that's what I'm thinking about is, and then, there was just something about it sort of cycled through, and I looked at the date and I was going to comment. It was from a year ago. Like, really? These are
Yeah.
cycling. Yeah.
Yeah, you have
And
to check dates and all of that. I as well. And sometimes I just say I haven't had time to check it. So if it's not real, please feel free to say so. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought this was cute. Yeah.
I thought about something came through about Miem Bialik having a colonoscopy, and it was from last year. Why do I want to comment on last year? You get all the advice from then.
I
And
don't even want to know that Mia Bialik had a colonoscopy. But okay.
Amy Farrah Fowler.
There you go.
There's a couple other things too that are very that just have been upsetting, and just sort of the loss of how things were, if that makes sense. I just
Loss of sense of normal.
what I considered normal.
Right. Or
No,
being able to count on how things
come
are
on.
or should be.
You
Yeah, and
know,
it's a lot of places, and it is a grief. It is a loss. It's something we have to find ways to cope with.
I
Hmm.
I worked in public health for 10 years. I gave immunizations. And I know how it saves lives.
Right.
I I was thinking about it, and maybe this sounds weird about like a future loss or something, but I think about great great grandkids I may or may not be part of in the future. Great kid, I may, but my grandkids now and their children,
Hmm.
and how they won't know it. It's not even the loss of that normalcy of, okay, you get these vaccines when you're first born, and then you move on, and then you move on. It's people never saw. I mean, you don't see very often now about people with polio.
Mm-mm.
You don't. There's no iron lungs unless they're all in some
And I've
museum
cared for
or
people with post polio syndrome.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And I it's like a weird future loss of intelligence. And I guess this is in uh, like a cycle that maybe this is just what happens in in lifetimes in 200 years.
It
I
must be because if we go back and look, when we looked in COVID, we knew when there was a need for wearing masks in the 20s or 30s there,
nobody
and
did.
no, during the Spanish flu in the 1918, people were arguing and protesting wearing masks then. So there's been a constant churn of people not wanting to basically cooperate with working together for the greater good, if you will, which is part of who you and I are and our listeners are, but it impacts everyone.
It, I I think about I I empathize. There's sometimes people who their kids have vaccines. Maybe they have them later on in life, but it's before they're in public school. So the potential to affect a whole bunch of people.
Right.
If they got rubella, if they got, you know, just whatever is low. But then I think if they go to school and that first grader has rubella or measles, German measles versus regular measles, they're both deadly. And they lead to complications down the road. So you're adding a load to the medical system if you don't take care of it now. And one more thing, I think when we learn that to have certain vaccines, to go to the doctor regularly, you prevent problems down the road, right?
Mhm.
And you learn as a young kid, this is part of life. In this country, you get to go to a doctor. You get to do these things. And no one's saying don't go to a doctor. They're not even saying it's you can't have the vaccines. But right now, they're saying none of it is mandated, like in Florida.
They're working
And
on that there. Yeah. I just got 2 more vaccines this week, and I'm so grateful for them. Because
yeah,
I don't, as a senior, want to end up sick myself, nor do I want to share something with somebody else. And
that's
that's
right.
important, right? I like to share. I don't want to share illness,
No,
right? And I just ordered all new masks for us for our trip coming up because
that's right.
we are not going to get on a plane without a mask on. That's just all there is to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just, I know about your and Stacy's, your health and specifically yours, and good. I'm glad you're doing it. When I went during COVID, we had face shields, gloves, and
Right.
masks because we didn't know. Always, they used to, I don't know if they still do, but when you got onto a plane, they always gave you a wipey thing
They don't do
to
that
take
anymore,
care
but
of
I
your own
carry
trach
my
paper.
own. Yeah.
Yes. Put some in a baggie and a
Right.
Ziploc, right? Put 4 sheets in there. It'll go through TSA. You don't have to worry about it.
And Ian is
So
right. Not recommending a vaccine does limit availability to the public because when it's not recommended,
yes,
insurance companies then take them off the availability list.
right,
And that's hard.
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I can't
So
get my new COVID until after I return from my trip because of lack of availability. And that's a concern for me. So
right. So it's at least in this country, how I thought things were going, I feel like the tables have been flipped for seniors. I thought, oh, Daryl and I would have a similar experience to his mother, and if we need to go into long-term care, we can do that. Medicare will pay for Medicare beds and, all these different things. And I don't know what's going to happen day to day, let alone in 5 years.
that loss of sense of certainty it's very similar to people who've experienced a mass loss event or a sudden loss event. It's the world I thought I stood on. I can go into a crosswalk and nobody's going to hit me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even that's changed. I live on a quiet residential street on a dead end street. And I came to a full and complete stop at the end of my street where there's a full and complete stop in all 4 points. And some idiot in a car decided there couldn't be cars coming from my street and just blew right through the stop sign. And if I'd had time, I would have been my mother and I would have followed him and I would have had words with him at the very next one. But I didn't have time because otherwise I would have. I am that person, I admit.
So
how dare you?
Right. That's how it is. Ian's laughing about that. Yeah. I I did
In fact,
not do such things, but I really do love being validated by the police when I've been an offender bender. Why? Because someone blew through the stop sign, so I'd pulled up into an intersection, and now I had to pull back, and at the same time some guy pulled up, so I ran into him technically, right? And he wouldn't move. The guy we both should have gone across the street or pulled over and not made a mess. No, no, I'm not moving until the police come. Police come, the first thing they say, can you guys move?
love
And
to.
yes, and the police saw what kind of person he was being, so I didn't even get a ticket once I
Nice.
explained what happened. Yeah.
I will tell
And
you the reason we have stop signs at the end of our street and in our neighborhood is when my parents first moved here. It was a brand new neighborhood and there were no stop signs. They just assumed people would watch out for each other and not drive through and,
right,
natural stop signs.
yeah,
And we had a couple kids who got hit walking to school because in those days you walked to school. And so mama organized the neighborhood mamas and they took their U-Bahn cans, remember those? And
yeah,
they got some plaster of Paris and
yes.
they used their mop
Oh my
handles
gosh.
and they
Yes,
cut out stop signs. And every day before school and after school, they dragged the stop signs into the street.
that's
And they
right.
did that throughout the neighborhood and it irritated the city, but they wouldn't stop. So the city had to put in stop signs because otherwise the mamas were going to keep doing it. Because sometimes when things are not how they're supposed to be, you got to
You
take action.
protest and you do it. You do what
You
needs to be
protest with your
done.
feet. Yeah. Or you chase
Yeah,
the car down that doesn't stop at the stop sign your mama got put in. Because
yeah,
then you gotta take
yeah.
action.
Sometimes I'd wish they say courtesy of, you
Right?
know. Right, right. I want to give a shout out to Angela Van Duyn Kennedy because I had her kids at camp a long, long time ago. And so good to see you, Angela. That's just great.
We want
Um,
to give a shout out to Alan too. His books were just picked up by a major book company.
yes, yes.
So
Alan
we're super
Klein we're talking
Alan Klein,
about.
we're super excited for you, dude. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I think Simon and Schuster picked up his books.
yeah. I was just gonna say that's just great.
It is
Um,
amazing.
you know, and one more thing that's not usual is
There's more.
there is it nobody's playing by rules. New rules are being made up as they're
Mhm.
going along. And that's real hard. It's sort of like being in junior high school and you want to be nice, but people are being mean. And so it's like either you don't talk to anybody or you talk and you have to be fake because you don't even know if they're being real nice to you. I mean, as an authentic,
Right.
real. And and so it's sort of a loss of what is going on. I don't know what the rules are anymore.
And that is
I
the
thought I was
uncertainty
just
that's the
figuring them
underpinning.
out,
Mhm.
right? I thought
Right.
I was. There is a club on worldwide actually called the I Don't Care Club.
Yes.
I thought I knew, and I really enjoy the humor and the support. But I, I don't even know what to care about anymore or
Mhm.
not to care about. And I'm like 69 and I should be able to just not care about a bunch of stuff. But now I don't even know what those rules are, to even be a bodacious woman. I don't know what
Mhm.
the rules are. And they change the rules, and people's reality is not people's reality. I know it sounds like I'm complaining a lot, but this has really concerned me for for a while, and now I'm just going, bleh.
It's a lot, it feels a lot like when you have an out of order death. Like someone
Yes.
that young isn't supposed to die. That's not how it works. Or
No.
you said we had a 90% chance with chemo, and now we're with hospice. And I don't understand how that, we lived our life right, and I'm not speaking personally, and we did the right things. And my loved one is the one who's dying when there was supposed to be only a 10% chance. Or
they were the runner. They
we
were
got
the
on
one
a
that took care of
plane.
the body.
Right. My business partner is currently out of the country, and in the country
Right.
they're visiting, there was a massive accident and loss of
Oh,
life
yeah.
at a
Trolley.
right, at a trolley. And I messaged
Portugal.
immediately, knowing that there was every reason to think that they had been
Yeah.
or were going on it, and heard back the
Right.
next morning, no, we weren't on it, but we were previously, because
Right.
you're supposed to be able to go on vacation and be safe. Those are the rules, but the rules aren't being followed.
Right.
Right. And so we need to find ways to find stable for us individually, and ways to cope, and ways to thrive, which is something we talked about last week to talk about this week, which is how do we focus on where we do have sure stands? How do we focus on how we do feel better about ourselves, our world, even if it's just our tiny little intimate world? How do we find, there's the cat, right? You've got the cat. I've got a dog passed out next to me, fortunately, so I don't have to hold him. How do we find those places? And,
Right.
who are the folks we can find when we're scrolling, who are not freaking, who instead are finding the stories or finding the joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Videos of Oatman, Arizona, where the donkeys walk down the street openly and everyone stops for them.
Right. Right.
And places where you can walk free in nature and do the forest bathing, so that you are surrounded by the trees or the water or all of that. How do we find those things and recenter
And
and
take
laugh?
it in for the moment. Yes.
Mhm.
Laugh, breathe. One, you got to breathe. Breathing is very important. I had a friend who had to go to a pulmonologist, and the pulmonologist said, well, when you're using your oxygen, and when you're doing this, and when you're doing that, and yes, Ian, we will come to Italy, and all these things. And then finally, my friend said, you keep talking about me taking my oxygen and using it here and there. I don't have any oxygen. And he goes, what? I prescribed that for you 2 weeks ago. And he's like, well, that order never came through to me. You never said anything to me, and nobody did it. And so then the doctor's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So when these things don't happen, how can you take joy in the things that may be fleeting and familiar? So by taking joy is by noticing. I am noticing I have one sunflower way in the back. One, I could see it, so I'm happy because I couldn't see anything like that before. Number two, it's still here in spite of the hail and the rain and the stuff. So it's fleeting. That sunflower is going to die, right? It's going to go on to sunflower heaven. I don't know if that exists.
And
but
the birds are going to eat all the seeds and replant the sunflower.
Right. And hopefully that is what happens. But looking for those moments.
Right.
That's
looking for all the moments.
Looking,
right?
Yes.
Speaking of that, I have all of my tomato plants burned up because of our intense heat. But somebody ate a tomato back there, and somebody stopped in my front yard in a cool spot. And now I have a whole new cherry tomato plant in my front yard that's getting automatically watered. And I am getting to bring in all new cherry tomatoes from a shady spot that I would never have thought to put a tomato plant in before, because nature took its course and reminded me that sometimes we need to look a little more carefully. I almost went, oh, there's a weed, I need to yank it. And then I went, no, I know those leaves.
Yeah.
And we had fresh tomatoes on our salad this weekend from that tomato plant. Right? How do we find it? I'm going to post about the Finch app too.
Nice.
I like the Finch app. It's free. It does have a paid app, but it's free. And it has happy thoughts when you sign in. And it has reminders for healthy living. And you can invite friends and then send them happy moments or send them hugs or whatever. It's a way to remind yourself to connect, because one of the things we don't do, and you and I know this in grief, is people get lonely.
Yes.
And in the grief in this world, we do get lonely. And so any place we can find to connect, when we can't fly to Italy to see Ian, and when we're not in La Crosse connecting there are ways to connect, and there are ways to shut off the negative too. I have staff who have found some apps that actually, before you go on the internet on your phone, it says, are you really sure this is where you want to spend your time right now? And it makes you wait 5 seconds before you go on. And it gives them time to go, you know what? I probably have something else I could be doing with my time. I could go for a walk instead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
So there's ways that we can even use technology to turn it on itself.
Well, I'm looking forward to trying the Finch app. And that looks, I like breathing exercises. One of the reasons I love doing yoga, sometimes I don't do the exercises, but I breathe with the instructor.
There you
I
go.
just sit there and do different types of breathing, because without breathing, such as the doctor saying, oh, are you using your O2? Breathing is important.
It is. And it actually has a timer on it. So you can tell it if you want to do 1, 2, 3, or 5 minutes of breathing. It gives you choices for different kinds of breathing. And you get magic stones for them that you can use to buy your Finch cute little outfits. So my little Finch is currently wearing some of the cutest clothing you've ever seen. And here, let me show. Let's see if I can get her up there. There she is.
Yes. Oh,
there's
my gosh.
Right? And there's my things I'm supposed to do still. Walk 100 more steps, take a stretch break, give the dogs their meds, and then you get magic stones for that. And my Finch is currently visiting Zurich, Switzerland. So yeah, it's just it's cute, it's silly, but if I need to breathe slowly, I can tell it, and it will. And you can put the phone down and it counts it down. You can feel the vibration in your hand. So I use it with lots of folks, but there's lots of different things. Find some silly videos to watch. Watch Misha. For goodness sakes, watch Misha.
Right? I mean, his language is colorful, but the way he strings together, and what's the name of it is Don't Piss Off a Gay Man.
Right.
Isn't that his? Yes.
That's it.
And I found a video of him singing. Someone asked him to sing a song from Les Mis, and it was beautiful, just beautiful. I love his stories. There's another. So Jill and I don't have to go into this now. Maybe he'd be willing to come on our.
He's on vacation. I'm going to reach out to him once he gets back.
Okay. Yes, that's right. He is on vacation. It's his birthday.
Yeah.
All righty. So we came on early. We're leaving a little bit later. Thank you all for being here.
We
And if
appreciate
you're
it.
not watching now and you watch later, thank you. Thank
Please
you.
follow us and like us. It does help us be found by people. We are not monetizing this. We aren't here for money, but it'd be nice to be shared a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would, because we want to share your goodness too. And if you have ideas to add to the list today, please add them. We'd love to see it.
Add them. We would love to hear from you and what you'd like to see or hear us talk about or bring. We'll find somebody. If we can't talk about it, we'll bring somebody to talk
And
about
if you've got someone to send us, send them. We love that too.
Yes, yes. All right, everyone.
All right, everybody. We'll see you soon. Have a good weekend. Bye, everybody.
Have a good bye-bye, everyone.